What's up, everybody? This 2K7 Blues. This your boy Kenny.
Keith.
So we're 2K7 Blues. Of course, I'm Kenny again. This is Keith. We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. But yeah, so we basically just want to come to y'all today and just kind of just introduce ourselves. Topics of today is kind of going to be, we wish that 2018 would just end already.
Yeah, it's there. It could just be over.
2018, we need to really get over this year and just go ahead and start 2019, because 2018 has been showing its ass. Like, it's just a lot of stuff that's been going on. We're gonna kind of go over, because hopefully our stories can help to motivate someone else, or help that someone else that's going through the same thing, like, get through what they're going through, because they can relate to somebody else that's going through the same thing. So yeah.
Basically, like, if 2018 was a PlayStation game, I would have been like deleted the memory and just started again. Just been like, just run that whole thing back, because it's been crazy. It's been like the most crazy year of my life, right?
Yeah. Like him for sure. It's been really crazy with him.
Yeah.
So it's everybody that know Keith knows that he's this is a kind-hearted person. Dude is loyal, and you wouldn't expect anything bad to happen to someone that's this loyal. But I feel as though, when he goes into his story, he's going to explain to you a lot of different things that's happened to him within the past 3 months. It hasn't even been within the whole year. It's been within the past 3 months. He's going to go into his story. I'm going to go into my story, with something that happened, to me as well within the past 3 months. And we're going to kind of sum that all up and let y'all know how we grew from that and how we are able to stay motivated and stay in meditation. So go ahead and...
Okay. So what's up again? This is Keith. Well, for me, this is probably gonna be the saddest thing you ever hear me talk about, because generally I try to keep it cool, I try to keep it positive, so I'll probably be a lot more upbeat next time you see me. But it's been like a bad couple of months for the kid, man. If you know me, you know I've been a caregiver for my aunt, Dorothy Easley. Shout out to Undot gang, hey, for a little while. And she's she's 91 years old, and probably one of my favorite people in the whole world. Basically helped raise me, and we live together. Recently, she went into hospice care because her dementia became to the point where, dementia is a disease where basically your brain is shutting off the lights to the rest of your body, and they cease to function at the end of it. And she was at the end stages. And really, my mother really was helping me out dealing with it, because I never had a big loss in my family, or nobody that I had to see day to day, and especially not anybody that I love that much. And it caused me to lose a little bit of my faith in God, which kind of changed who I was as a person. It caused me just to be a sad dude, and my mom was really helping me through that. And last month, the doctors called us in saying that my aunt in hospice care had about 3 days maybe to live.
This was like we said before, this was a process leading up to that she got in hospice care. So when did she get diagnosed with Alzheimer's?
Well, she has dementia.
Not Alzheimer's, but dementia, my bad.
Yeah, about 3 years ago is when stuff really started going left. My last year of college, things really started going bad for her. Her forgetting, just basic stuff where she is, or certain people names that she know, or basically anybody besides me or my Uncle Paul. Shout out to Uncle Paul. Yeah, but Uncle Paul, her husband, was 65 years.
And she used to have a book where she wrote down everybody's names and stuff, because she had me in there about 5 times.
Yeah, she would just write down anything she didn't remember. She held on as long as she could, really. And so that really took a toll on me, because I didn't understand how someone of faith like my aunt and stuff could go through something
so much.
Yeah, and it's because dementia is scary. There was days where she didn't know where she was, and she'll wake up scared, or scream, or just not know what was going on. And I'm sure that's scary for her. Was scary for her. But recently, I want to say it had to be. The days move so fast now, but it was last month now, because it was the week before Thanksgiving. She wasn't responsive. We tried to talk to her. She wouldn't swallow. She couldn't swallow anymore, because her brain wasn't sending signals for her to swallow her food, and she couldn't talk anymore. So we ended up, long story short, having her admitted into hospice care at Henry Ford Hospital. And so, my mother was helping me through that. My family really came together, and was just like, we're all here because we all love Undot. Everybody who knows Undot loves her. Like, never had a negative thing to say about anybody. If you ever thought I was a nice person, like, if you would have saw her, she made me look.
She welcomed you right in.
Yeah,
just adopted child to her. Well, not even adopted. You basically her child.
Yeah, she offer you like lemonade as soon as you come in the house.
Yeah,
like
that's the sweet lemonade,
right?
Because he don't know I make lemonade. He make lemonade. It's not sweet.
I follow the directions.
I love the little syrup at the bottom that she have in there.
Yeah, she put like it's just sugar with a little bit of lemonade and a little bit of water.
Just pour all the syrup in there.
But yeah. So my mom was helping me out with that, and so we had a meeting with the hospice team, and they told us the news, and I feel like we handled it relatively well. We just we were expecting it. I got to the point where I was expecting things to start happening, so I was preparing myself, But the next day, after my mom had to talk to me that day at the window of the hospice wing, and we sat there and just talked by the window. She was just saying, being a good person isn't weak, and that's your strength, and basically saying we had a talk. She was just encouraging me, saying she was proud of me and stuff like that. But my mom would do that because if my mom, Gwen Morris, my mom was like my ride or die. Like that's. If nobody else got my back, my mom do, and she loved all my friends and stuff like the same way Undot did. But so we do that, and we run a couple errands, and the next morning, I get a call from my aunt saying that my mom had to go to emergency from her job because she had to be to work at 7 in the morning, and my aunt was out of town, and so she called me. She was her in case of emergency, and so she called me and said, your mom has to go up to emergency because she felt dizzy and she felt weak at work, and they had to take her to emergency room. I'm thinking, we've had problems with her blood pressure before, so maybe she just didn't take her medicine or something.
She had to go to the hospital before, right?
Yeah, we had a different issue before where we tried to take part in a dementia study actually to test for dementia.
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
Yeah, and they had to give her a quick physical, and her blood pressure was like real high. And they were just saying, make sure you take your medicine. She was like, cool, I'm going to take my medicine. So I'm thinking, mom just probably didn't take her medicine. Mm-hmm. She'll be fine. Because there's no way that something happened to my mom. Like, if you know my mom and how close we are, like, there's no way something could happen to her. Not nothing bad, at least, And definitely not in the same week that we're expecting Undot to die. Like,
nobody thought about that at all. Like, even when,
yeah.
When I got the phone call, what you told me that she had to go to the hospital, I was just saying like, okay, it's probably just, like you said, like another one of those issues where you got to go in and get checked out and you'll be out the same day.
Yeah. Like I thought, like, oh, okay, I was just gonna fuss a little bit, like, come on, mom, take your medicine, and that'll be that. I never thought it'd be nothing like that. So when I called her, we talked on the phone, and she just was like, she sounded weird. She did sound groggy or sleepy. So I thought maybe, because nobody in my family had been sleeping a lot because we were all so concerned about Undot. Myself included, I hadn't been sleeping. And my mom had expressed to me that she hadn't been sleeping, but neither had my cousins either. So we talked like it was regular, but she sounded sleepy. And I just was like, she was like, don't worry, Jason. She's like, don't panic, because I know how you could get. And if you know me, if I love you, I'm going to worry. Like, I'm a worrier, like. So I'm just like, I was like, no, don't you worry. You need to chill out because your pressure is the one that's high, not mine. And she kind of laughed. She's like, okay, cool. And I was like, cool. And then the phone just kind of hung up. Mm. And I remember thinking, I was like, that's weird because me and my mom never get off the phone and just say, okay, cool. We always say, I love you, regardless of the conversation. Like, even if we were to be fussing, she like, Jason, she's like, I love you, but you need to use some common sense. Or, I love you, but you need to get it together. Yeah. And that's the way to separate relationship. We never tried to leave it on bad terms. So I thought that was weird. And so I called her again. She didn't answer. And I just was like, okay. That just means we need to get down there faster. Mm-hmm. So my uncle and I went down to the hospital. And they called. We were on the way to the hospital. They called and were like, your mom had an episode.
The nurse called, right?
Yeah, the nurse called. They called me on the phone because they saw I'd been calling. Because I kept calling and texting at that point. And they were like, your mom had an episode on the CT machine and she's become unresponsive and we had to ventilate her. Don't rush to try to get out here, but, get here. And that's really just, you know, if you're in any type of health field or, you know, that's just their code for don't get in a car accident on your way down here, trying to rush down here. So we still try to get down there, you know. So we get down there as fast as we can, because it was at St. John's. It was kind of out a little bit far from my house.
Like Pontiac, right?
Yeah, it was because it was closer to my mom's job. So we get down there and she's ventilated, and she's just, you know, lying there. And I'm just, in my head, I just was like, well, she's going to get up. She's going to get better. You know? Like, this will just be something that we talk about later. That I'll be like, man, you scared me, man. Like, come on, you scared me. And it was just me and my Uncle Vic, my mom's brother. And they gave me, you know, some of her stuff. And I remember just not knowing, her purse feeling so heavy. I didn't know what to do. So I just put it down and I walked out. And I called, you know, my cousins, and I called my other auntie, like, hey, y'all need to get down here because this don't feel right. And I remember being in the waiting room, and I prayed, like, harder than I've ever prayed in my life, you know. I just was like, God, like, I know I'm 30 now, you know, but my mom has so much more life to live, and I need her. Like, please don't do this. You know, please, please, please don't do this to me. Don't do this to her. Don't do this to me. Just helping her get better, you know. And I remember just being there by myself, just praying and praying and praying. And the doctor came and found me, and we're like, you know, we have to transfer her to St. Joe's because they have a neurological, like, specialty department that can help with things dealing with the brain. So we have to take her now. If she's gonna go, we have to take her now, and y'all could just meet us there. So I'm like, whatever y'all need to do, you know, I'll tell my family and we'll meet y'all down there. So I'm texting my family, you know, just trying to keep my mind off stuff, you know, just texting everybody, just keeping them updated. And we met them at the hospital later on. And so I got there and they were like, you know, we have to do a procedure to drain the fluid from around her spinal cord and around in her brain because they didn't want it to swell, because that's like certain death. And I remember they were saying, they were like, you know, this will increase her chances of survival a lot. And my family was there at that point, you know, I was happy to see, you know, everybody there. But hearing somebody say, like, go from, oh, you didn't take your medicine to increasing your chances of survival, that make it seem so much more, like, real. Because it's like, survival means we're trying to just keep you alive. So that procedure goes well. They do that with no problem. They shave, like, a piece of her hair, because they had to, like, drain fluid from her brain and stuff, I guess. And I remember thinking, like, my mom would be so mad. And she was saying, like, what? Like, I got this, y'all done shaved this. Right, y'all done got a side shaved off my head, man. Come on. But I remember seeing her as they, like, wheeled her by. And they were like, just let her, you know, let them do what they got to do. And so I'm just like, whatever y'all got to do it to fix it and to fix her. Cause I love my mom. Like, I'm my mom. You guys don't know me, but I'm my mom's only son. You know,
and mom's only child.
I'm my mom's only child. Period. Yeah, and it's just, you know, a lot of my life has just been me and her. You know, like that's my. It's been cool. If nobody got your back, like your mom do. So believe that. Believe it. But so that happened. And it took a long time. For a long time, we were just, you know, my family was trying to get me to eat. And, you know, I appreciate that. But everything tastes like I always say, it tastes like sand. Like, I felt like I was going to throw up.
Yeah, mouth was dry. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I just was going to throw up all the time. Like, just, I didn't know, because it didn't feel like a real thing that should be happening in real life. And so after that, you know, it took a long time. And then they finished that procedure, then they did another procedure to look up into her brain to see what was actually going on, to see if it could be fixed. And later on, long story short, the neurosurgeon came in there, me, my little cousin Dagan, my auntie, like a couple family members, not, you know, a whole bunch of us, because a lot of us were not there. You know, some people went out to get food, you know, my auntie was still flying back from Florida. And he just was basically like, oh, well, we didn't find any blood in her brain, and there hasn't been any blood in there for a long time.
Was that like since earlier? Did he say like kind of weird?
He said it had been like at least 2 hours with no blood in her brain at all at that point.
How did he say why that?
Well, it turns out that she had a stroke, which caused a brain bleed,
Okay.
which drained the blood out.
Mm.
And so it just kind of, like I think I told you this before. It's weird when you hear news like that, the stuff that your brain focuses on. Because all I could remember was like looking at the carpet and remember thinking like, man, this carpet got a lot of stuff going on it. Like, I just was a zombie. I didn't know what was going on. And then, I remember being angry with the doctor because he was so matter of fact in the way he was saying it. Because he just was like, well, if I check it again, I won't find anything. Because this means she's gone. And we're just basically keeping her alive with our machines. And it just kind of, and I understand that doctors can't cry every time somebody dies. Because they can't do that. They gotta do their job.
And a lot of them are like they're not. It's not Stonewall. They like used to. It's like kind of like
Yeah, this might not even be the first person he seen die today, but the way he presented, like I'm not.
Heartless.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking that way at the time. I'm just like, well, check it again. I'm getting upset with him. Like, check it again. He like, if it doesn't matter how many times I check it. Like, I've already checked it multiple times, and this is what I do for a living, and this is this. So I just kind of stumbled through the halls and kind of just, I didn't know what was going on. It was crazy. I called my dad or whatever. And I remember thinking like, I have to call my dad. And I guess I sound like a robot because everybody was like, no, you need to sit down. But I'm like, I just need to be doing something, like doing something else that's not this. I have to get out of this room. I have to be doing something. So she was gone. And my family, people came back, everybody came back, and my mom, proud of my mom, shout out to Gwen, she is an organ donor, which I encourage everybody to do, she's an organ donor, and they had to keep her organs and stuff, they had to keep her breathing and keep her alive, keep her heart beating, because they need the organs to be viable. So the people from the organ donor place, sat with us, and they were like, you're about to get ready to see her, and her chest is going to be moving, her heart is going to be beating, she's going to be warm, but don't let that give you hope to think that she's coming back, because we're doing that. These are the machines. This isn't her body doing that. So, I'll at least, they let me see her. So, they let me see her, talk to her, I laid over her for a minute, just, it was rough. It was like, I can't think of anything that I felt that felt worse than that, It was like the worst moment of my life, to be honest. Yeah, I just went to like her warm hand, or, just, so they let me talk to her, I sat there, I talked to her for a while. My family, said their goodbyes and stuff. And it was bad. It was the worst. It was literally the worst.
And it's crazy to have two of your favorite people, like lost in the same week. That's like, sometimes you ask God, like, why me? Like, why'd you have to do this to me? Because I know you said you seen some friends and they lost their parents, and you was kind of like, like,
I don't know what I would do.
What I would do without, right? Because with me, like I said before, like I would be falling out, going crazy.
It's kind of like it's either you live or you die. And it's kind of like, all you can do is make it the best way through the days you can. It's still real fresh for me. It's still.
It hasn't even been a whole month.
No, it hasn't been a whole month at all. Like, it's only been 3 weeks since my mom, and 2 weeks since Undot. Or a week since Undot's funeral, and 2 weeks since my mom's. So it's kind of like, they were like, I don't know how you make. I'm like, I don't have a choice. Like, I just kind of.
You're still functional. Like that's so a strength right there. You're still able to have a conversation and talk about it. And a lot of us, like, we just want to kind of, like, have you talk about this, like, and kind of just like your dropping everything so you don't have to talk about it no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to like keep having to bring it up and talk about stuff like this. And I feel like it's just still a strong person for being able to keep speaking about it and talking about it. It's therapeutic to kind of get it out. Yeah. It sucks, man. Like,
yeah, it's the worst situation, but it's, both of them always saw me try to find positive anything, And so if y'all listen to me saying, like, if Keith Jason, if me, if I, you know, it's okay to, I'll be crying sometimes, man. It'll hit me sometimes in the morning or at night, and I'll just be like, y'all really died on me? Hold on, what? And it'll hit me, and I'll be down. But then, you know, I'll get it out, you know, and then I just kind of gotta still get through my day, you know. I still gotta, people still expect you to do stuff.
And this is a time where you see, like, where your friends and your brothers come and use, because it's good that, you know, Keith has a strong foundation around him of people that really love him, and that stays up with him at night crying, and that, you know, it's all good to cry, man. But, like, you know, we love this man to death. Like, you know, we've been here for him, you know, and we've been trying to make it to where he's not by himself. At least around this time. Eventually he's gonna have to be by himself, but we're trying to make it to where he's at least around people so it can make him feel like a human, feel normal.
Yeah.
Because like me, I never went through anything like this before. I mean, I had a scare to where my mom was admitted to the hospital for heart failure, but she ended up making it through and getting through it, which was a week before this stuff happened with his mom. So he already was kind of, you know, listening to me going kind of crazy and about to damn near pass out and all this stuff because my mom was in the hospital, which my mom never gets admitted into the hospital. Nobody, like, it's when it hits that close to home, it's like, dang.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's invincible. Like, nobody can ever go through life without going through something traumatic. And it can happen randomly, like in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, it's good to keep people close and to stay as positive as you can, because you never know when your last day is. So it's, you know, that's tough, man. Like,
yeah.
But your story can help somebody else. There's probably somebody going through this that don't know, that don't have anybody to talk to, or that don't have as strong as a friendship foundation around them.
Yeah.
So
that's,
you know, if you're watching this video, you know, we love you, and you can make it through for real. Like, you really can make it through.
No, believe me. Like, some days I'll be like, well, I don't know how I am, how I'm gonna make it, but it's just, again, just step by step, just one foot in front of the other. You know, one of my sorority sisters, I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma, but one of the Zetas, she had left a comment that really resonated with me. She was just saying, like, it's okay not to be okay. Like, it's okay to be sad. Like, it'll be crazy for you not to be sad, but just take it 1 second by 1 second, and then them seconds turn into minutes. Then the minutes turn into hours, and the hours turn into days. Like, don't try to if you're going through something like a big loss like that, or just feeling super down, it's okay to feel down, but just, you know, just take it minute by minute. Don't look too far into the future, because that's something that really bothered me, because it was just kind of, I don't know how I'm gonna be without those people in my life. Those are my two favorite people, my favorite people in the whole world. And so I don't know how I'm gonna make it some days, but right now I'm making it second by second, and, you know, and then that's just that. That's all I can do. And that's all you could do. And that's okay. Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself to do a lot of stuff. Like, do what you can do.
Yeah.
And don't feel bad about the stuff you can't do. Just...
You'll get there eventually.
Exactly. You'll get there.
It's a process.
Yeah, just do what you can do. And that's really the things I've learned out of this, really. So, you could do it, though. Like, if I can, believe me, you can.
You can.